Hey guys, James from Kartz-N-Fartz. So I've got a customer with a club car precedent, and the lower Heim joint has failed and it actually hit the ground. So they did a pretty good job for an emergency repair just to get it on the trailer to get it to me, but I'm gonna show you what that looks like. So as you can see, they took a ratchet strap, which actually worked pretty well, just to hold the axle up against the Heim joint. And I'm not sure if this iPhone's gonna show you, but the Heim joint actually separated. So I'm gonna replace that with new ones. And guess what, guys? I got a feeling this one had the same amount of time on the ground as this one. So I'm gonna go ahead and replace both lower Heim joints. And you know, when the lift and everything looks fairly new, it's not dirty at all. So anyway, but first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna jack up from the center this A-arm lift kit, and we're gonna see, take that apart, and let's see what it looks like. All right, guys, sorry for the lighting. It's late afternoon here in South Carolina. As I'm loosening this bolt, you can see all this Loctite. So whoever put this lift on did the right thing. If you don't put the Loctite, just a motion of the spindle, or I guess you call that a spindle, going back and forth, will actually loosen up, and that could cause a problem with the bolt backing out. So I'm gonna continue to take this apart, but if you see all that white stuff, I don't think that's corrosion. I think that's remnants from the Loctite. So guy did a good job on that part. All right, guys, got it apart. So it sat in there. Careful I don't poke myself doing this with one hand. It sat in there like this, and I guess whatever may have happened, it spread out the little retainer there. See if you can see how it looks on the inside. So there's one side, and the other side is just pulled through. See how it pushed the metal. And when it did, of course, this stayed attached to the spindle. Spindle went up in the air, and the frame and everything else hit the ground, which made the tire go up and hit the inner fender well. So I've got two new ones to put on there. And of course, once you replace these, you'll have to do a front end alignment. I've got a video on that also on my Kartz-N-Fartz channel. So now when I put this nut or bolt back up in there, I'm gonna go ahead and soak it down with Loctite, just like the previous installer did, because once I get this screwed in there, I can loosen up these two nuts and adjust the camber for the golf cart. Now the top ones are different. The only way you can adjust the camber with the top bolts is to take this bolt out and spin it one way or the other, clockwise or counterclockwise. So if you're installing a new 6-inch A-arm lift or a 3.5-inch A-arm lift, don't put Loctite on the top when you initially put it together. Wait till you're completely done with your front end alignment, then put Loctite on the top. But the bottom won't matter. The bottom's gonna be fine. And coincidentally, I think I mentioned it before, I'm gonna go ahead and replace both lower Heim joints. So anyway, I haven't seen this fail a lot, but I know it does happen. So now that I've taken that one all the way loose, you know, everything is just kind of dangling right now. And the top one actually looks in pretty good shape. So anyway, let's jump at it. All right, guys, my bolt is seized inside of my joint, probably because of the Loctite. So what I'm gonna use is it's a dead blow hammer. It's got a plastic tip on the end of it. I don't wanna use a regular metal hammer because I can damage these threads, and that's gonna make it a bear on you. Then you're gonna get a tap and die set out trying to straighten out the threads. So let's try this. Look there, just a little bit of tap. It's coming out. Let's see, not too bad for one hand. There's my bolt. Oh, look at there. All that is Loctite. So, like I said, previous installer, hey, it ain't his fault. He did exactly what he was supposed to do. So I'll get this cleaned up with a wire brush, and let's see. All right, guys, so I've got the threads cleaned off very well, and you see that's the tool I use. So be careful, and always be sure to use your safety glasses. Don't skimp on this step. It's no fun pulling metal out your eye. All right, guys, you can see I've got the bolt in here with about 4 or 5 threads. And unless you want to jack up the tire, which is freewheeling right now, it's kind of difficult to get on top of the threads to put your Loctite on. So what I do is I take my floor jack and I just gently lower it down. You see the weight brings it down, and then I stop. Now I'm going to have to use both hands. I'm going to coat this with Loctite. At the same time, I'm going to tighten it up with my wrench, my 3/8 Allen head. And as it works its way up in there, then I'll start jacking it up a little bit to let some more pressure off of it. But I want to get a lot of Loctite up in those threads just like the previous installer did. And then I'll tighten these down on the inside, and there was a lock nut on the inside, and put that together. All right, so I got that tightened up. Now I'm gonna take a towel and try to wipe some of that residue off of it. And then the next step is I'm gonna make sure that these are tight. All right, guys, here's the side, the driver's side that was actually it was the passenger side that was good. But if I can hold this camera still enough, can you see the play on that other bottom Heim joint? So if you've had one fail, I would strongly suggest to replace both of them. That one is not far down the road from failing. All right, so I'm gonna slide this one on here, and behind there I am gonna put the lock nut first and then the nut. And if you're very observant, you'll also know these bushings wore out, so I'll replace these for this customer while I'm at the front end, getting ready to do the front end alignment. All right, guys, she is done. Got my new Heim joints down there. I did adjust the front end alignment. I put some new bushings on the leaf spring there. And by the way, I get those bushings. Those are sway bar bushings for an automobile, and I pick them up at O'Reilly's, but I'm sure Advance and AutoZone's probably got the same things. But I know I've got this on like 0.5, so it looks like the tires are bowed out. But if I zoom in into 1.0, I'm just too close to the tires. But the tires are straight up and down. Like I said, please look at some of my other videos. You'll see them on the Kartz-N-Fartz YouTube channel. I did a front end alignment the same way that I did it on the video, so no reason to duplicate that. But there it is right there, I think it's 2011 Club Car President, but all the A-arm lift kits are about the same, and that's how you fix a broken Heim joint. So anyway, I think they also make safety washers to try to catch the head of the bolt when they do fail, but no one around here sells them, so I just replaced the Heim joints. But anyway, like and subscribe to the channel. That way you can help me out. If you're looking for any eco battery needs or plumb quick motor needs, those are my two biggest selling products. But again, just log on to the channel. You can find some stuff you can do with your garage, and you don't need me or anybody else. So, but it's always good to see them. So thanks again. I'll see you next video.